Alright guys, and welcome to another video. Today we're having a little bit of a history documentary about how classic World of Warcraft was born. What's interesting about this process is how heavily it was influenced by the community. I thoroughly believe that without the vanilla private server scene and the community coming together, classic WoW just wouldn't exist because Blizzard wouldn't have made classic WoW on their own initiative. I feel like in the early days, before classic WoW was a thing, developers came across as very stubborn and arrogant in interviews, refusing to believe that the changes that they have made to World of Warcraft over the years haven't necessarily been for the benefit of the game. And some people would just simply prefer the old, unchanged version of the game. This was obviously massively exemplified by the hooded guy who goes to the Walls of Draenor Q&A panel and asks this question to the developers. He asks, have they ever considered, making servers for previous expansions? And obviously he gets totally shot down by J. Allen Brack, who, very arrogantly and narcissistically, that he knows better what the audience find as fun. As if he knows us better than he knows ourselves, as if he's like our parent or something. It was very patronising. And obviously that stunt got him in the bad books with the community quite considerably. This didn't actually become much of a meme when it happened though, it became much more of a meme later on. By the way guys, I am streaming a lot more on Twitch at the moment. If you want to check me out, you'll find that in the comment section below. But anyway, let's carry on. But the thing is, even when this little stunt happened at BlizzCon, there was interest in people playing classic WoW. In fact, I used to play in a very old private server called Phoenix because I wanted to try out, vanilla World of Warcraft and the Burning Crusade. I mean, these servers were pretty terrible and shady, but at their peak they had a few thousand people playing them, and I was interested to see how the game was different back then. Eventually a better scripted vanilla server came out called Valkyrie, originally called Scriptcraft. This was more of a Russian server, so the population wasn't insane. It was also a very short staffed project, which meant that the AQ gates didn't open for a very long time, and many people just kind of gave up on it. But it laid a foundation of what eventually became Nostalrius. I didn't actually know Nost existed when it launched, and not many people did, to be fair. Quite a few people played it at launch, but the thing that was weird about this server is it just slowly burned and got bigger and bigger like a snowball as time went on. Normally the total opposite happens on private servers, which exemplified the growing interest in classic World of Warcraft. My friend told me about it and I decided to give it a spin, and I got thoroughly addicted to leveling my hunter. It was such a different experience to playing retail World of Warcraft because of all the honey mini systems that have been removed in later expansions. I found it very realistic and immersive to play a hunter, especially the leveling, because the leveling was no cakewalk, okay? It was a slow journey. It really felt like you're going on a really big adventure, and it was a really good challenge. Whereas retail was just a totally mind-dead leveling experience, and it kind of made me realise how much I'd forgotten how much I love leveling. And it made me realise how retail has just become so heavily focused on endgame, and it's kind of neglected some of the great core aspects of a beautiful MMO with a lot of charm. Eventually I tried my hand at making some videos talking about my experiences and, big differences between vanilla and retail. For instance, talking about how the quest design was different and how there was actually class quests in the game, which were really cool. And then eventually I tried my luck at making some actual hunter guides, and what was very surprising about this is I was getting way more views than I expected. I thought, well, I'm just making videos about a bootlegged server that not many people are playing, but I got a lot more interest and traffic than I expected. Another thing that exemplified the growing interest in vanilla WoW. And in my opinion, this was actually the golden age of private server content creation, because we were a lot less scared of Blizzard, and there was just more people to actually watch back then. Obviously, we're talking Dodgeykebab, Hamsterwheel, Dungeon J, Alex Central before he went a little bit crazy, Mr. GM before he shifted to making retail content. He also did a really good job at bringing content creators together for podcast and collaborative streams, which I got involved in very briefly. And my personal favourite was Orcbit, because goddamn, don't we all just miss that guy's voice. He was also a total doppelganger of my best friend at university, which was really weird. And obviously, content creation just added more and more weight to the snowball. And unfortunately, Nostalrius became just way too popular. Too popular for its own good, because Blizzard eventually did shut the server down because the server was hosted in France, and this made it fairly easy for them to shut down the server. It's why most private servers are hosted in Russia. A lot of content creators got a lot of hate during this time, we got the blame, but at the end of the day, if we hadn't done this, Classic WoW wouldn't exist today. As you can imagine, there was some serious uproar in response to this event. Many creators and news channels were reporting on it, because it's a pretty big gaming event if you think about it. It even turned out that JonTron had actually been playing Nostalrius, and even the BBC did an article on it. I think private server stigma somewhat flattened during this time because people began to realise how much work goes into a private server, and that some servers were just passion projects, from people who wanted to experience the older versions of the game. The community came together, we moaned and we expressed our desire for Classic WoW to Blizzard. Eventually this turned into a petition that got over 250,000 signatures, and eventually the legend Mark Kern, an ex-Blizzard employee on the original vanilla team, he printed them all off and handed them to the former CEO of Blizzard, Mike Morhaime. Soon after, the Nostalrius team were also invited to Blizzard headquarters to give a presentation in their actual boardroom, basically to pitch legacy servers to Blizzard and reveal the stats behind Nostalrius. For instance, how 800,000 accounts were created on Nostalrius, and over 150,000 of those accounts were actively playing the server. And then, obviously, the rebellion began. A number of vanilla and TBC servers popped up. It began with servers like PlayTBC that was up for a grand total of 1 hour before it totally broke because too many people were trying to play it. As much as that was a disaster, it showed how much people wanted to play Classic and TBC servers. Then Hellground popped up. That got taken down by Blizzard as well. Loads of us were playing on that server. And then eventually we all went onto Warmain's TBC server when that came out. And that just took the scene by storm, and it didn't get shut down. I also played that one as well. Pretty much played every, TBC vanilla server, between Nostalrius and Classic WoW being released. Then eventually Nostalrius was reborn into Elysium. Now, the Nostalrius team decided to respond to Blizzard's complete radio silence about Classic WoW by giving away the Nostalrius core to allow other people to use it for their own private server projects, and they also gave away the account data. Unfortunately, Nostalrius were met with some severe legal backlash to this decision and had to quickly pull out and distance themselves from the new Elysium private server team. Nano, who was a member of the Nostalrius team, has talked on his channel about how Blizzard hired an actual private investigator to track him down and hand him a cease and desist letter to his face. Eventually, the Elysium team collapsed on itself following allegations of stealing donation money and other things, and from that, Light's Hope Chapel was born, and that was the last big vanilla private server project before the Classic WoW announcement. And me and many other people played all of those vanilla server projects over and over again until Blizzard finally did do that announcement. But even after the announcement, I was still playing vanilla servers personally because I just love vanilla so much. Back then, everything just seemed to be going so well for me personally. It was very weird. I remember getting home one day after having a family get together in Liverpool, which was really great, reuniting with some relatives I didn't even know existed, and it had been announced for 12 hours without me even realising. And then later on in that day, my ex-girlfriend texted me asking for a lift home, basically asking to get back with me. So yeah, I got my girl back, graduated from uni, Classic WoW was announced, and then eventually, obviously, I transitioned into becoming a full-time YouTuber. When I stop to think about it, guys, I really do owe my career down to the Nostalrius team mainly, and obviously for the community, but mainly for Nostalrius resurrecting vanilla from the ashes, like a phoenix or something, sorry for the cringy metaphor. We all came together to make Classic WoW a reality, and obviously I'm eternally grateful, like you would not believe, that all of this has happened. I've said this a few times on the channel, if I ever meet any of my fans in real life, automatically I'm gonna buy you a beer, because you just have no idea how much I appreciate every single person who watches my videos and watches my, weird live streams. But anyway guys, that's the end of the video there. My name is MetaGoblin. To my next video, ciao.